This event today is just organized by an ad hoc group of activists who decided to create this group, the Green Climate Committee, and I approached the Green Party of Canada to sponsor the event, and they shelled out thousands of dollars to make this happen, so we want to thank them as well.
Science tells us that the stakes at Copenhagen could not be higher. But the benefits of taking urgent, united action are similarly powerful. We must not squander this unique opportunity to chart a new path to a low-carbon prosperity for all. The moment is now. Presidents and premiers and prime ministers from all ends of the climate change spectrum agree. Urgent action is necessary to prevent human-caused climate change from spinning out of control. Together we must ensure that all countries work towards a common long-term goal to limit the rising of global temperatures at safe levels, protect vulnerable populations, and create a path to global green growth. I encourage all countries to do more to make Copenhagen the place where the world concludes a comprehensive agreement that provides the foundation for our collective action on climate change. If there's one lesson to be learned from the climate crisis and the other crises of the past year, food, fuel, flu, and financial, it is this: we share one planet, one home. As people, as nations, as a species, we are in this together. And that went out to all the world's leaders as an urgent appeal to sort of stop fussing and dickering and whingering and do their stupid stuff and get their act together to come and do what matters now. So yes.
This year's delegation is 35 young people from across the country who will be traveling to Denmark to share the voice of Canadian youth and create positive change in the international climate change policy process. So last night my dad pointed something out to me. He said that every generation has had its issue, be it nuclear testing, logging of old-growth forest, goes on and on. It seems that with each issue, it's the youth of that generation, or the youth of that time, that can see so clearly what needs to change, what needs to stop. And it's the industry, the established interests that are always trying to stop that change from happening and stop progressive things from moving forward and make sure that business continues as usual. So for my generation, it seems that climate change is our big fight. To us, immediate and progressive action is not something that should even be up for negotiation. It's a basic need that has to be met in order for us to have a safe and healthy future. The one difference with this particular fight of our time is this time Canada is the worst country in the entire world. Canada isn't playing fair. The rest of the world knows that, and that for me is incredibly embarrassing. Last year I took 30 youth to Poland for the same set of negotiations. Like the previous year before that in Bali, we won the colossal fossil. That's the Fossil of the Year award, which is the one who wins the most Fossil of the Day awards at the entire conference. It basically means Worst Country of the World award. During the Fossil of the Year awards, I was standing on a stool at the back of this hallway packed with like 300 people, probably more, from all around the world. They were all there to see this final fossil presentation. And it was done in a really humorous way. Lyrics to a Celine Dion song have been changed to talk about the tar sands and lack of leadership. There was a big dinosaur head. The Canadian that was like getting the award was wearing a huge dinosaur head to show that we're the dinosaur and the laggard at a table of these negotiations. And everyone in the hallway was laughing and thought this was a really hilarious thing. And it was pretty funny. I guess in retrospect it was a pretty funny show, but I was standing up on this really high stool surrounded by some of the delegates I was there with, and I just started bawling my eyes out. After telling all of them that crying was really dramatic and emotional and they should not do that, I was there crying hysterically because suddenly my whole life was just sort of flashing in front of me in terms of my experiences in the past, and I've traveled a lot, I've lived overseas, I've been to more than 30 countries, and every single time I've been incredibly proud to be Canadian and incredibly happy with my country. And instead, this time I was standing there watching all the countries of the world bonding over the fact that we were the laughing stock of the world. For 2 weeks, Canada had been the brunt of all these jokes, and at that moment there was nothing else I could do but just kind of get down off my stool and start crying for the next like 20 some odd minutes. Anyways, partly that was due to lack of sleep, because the end of the conference they're really stressful, and it's definitely not meant to imply that I don't have hope. I have a lot of hope, but my hope does not come from the current government. My hope does not come from the Canadian negotiators that are at the table, except the ones that just have to say what they have to say and they really think other things. My hope stems from the 35 youth that I'm taking over to Copenhagen, that fundraise their own way to get there, that put in 6 months of volunteer time to make sure that they get there and that as many people's voices are heard, as well as the thousands and and thousands of youth who they represent, who have come to things like PowerShift, who were trying to speak on their behalf. And also from people like all of you, across all the generations, who actually are working to make sure that Canada can once again be a leader and a positive force in the one precious world that we have.